everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today I'm going to be ranking all the shows I saw in 2024. Honestly, I'm kind of freaked out to be saying that 2024 is coming to an end, because really, where has this year gone? But nonetheless, it is ending. And I saw, I would say, a decent amount of shows. In 2024, I went to the theatre 12 times, and that averages one a month. But let me tell you, all those people on TikTok trying to make me feel inferior, because they're like, I went to the theatre 57 times. I do not have the time to go to the theatre 57 times. Who does? Not me. I also don't have the cash to do that. So I'm going to be ranking the 12 shows that I saw in 2024. Before I get into this video, remember that you can like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and you can follow me at my social medias, which is xwilsonx on Instagram and hopewilson45 on Twitter and TikTok. But I think without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first show I saw in 2024 was Hamilton. I saw the UK tour of Hamilton, and in it I remember I saw the understudy for Hamilton and the understudy for Angelica. Overall, I thought the show was pretty good. Hamilton is just objectively a great show, but it's not one of those shows where I'm like, this is my favourite, it's the best thing I've ever seen, life-changing, world-ending show. I don't think that. And like I said, this is a great show. I think it is one of the best written shows ever, but from just personal preference is not like the one I would be running to see again. I saw this on the 3rd of January. It was a long while ago now, but I think personally it was a very solid show. The reviews had been strongly mixed, but when I tell you, Mia Malarkey, who played Angelica, was amazing. She actually covers all three of the Schuyler sisters and she was great. Loved her performance. One Last Time, Washington, amazing. I think there was a really clear rapport between all of the cast members and it really showed off. I thought Billy Nevers was just great. There were so many great things about this show, and for that reason I think I'm going to put it in A tier. It's not quite S tier because I wasn't sat there like I have to go back, but Lynn, I love you, don't take this the wrong way. It was a good production and I would see it again, but I'm just not running back. Okay, the next show I saw in 2024 was The Motive in the Queue. Now, The Motive in the Queue is a play. It's a West End play, and it had Mark Gatiss in it, or Gattis, I never know how to pronounce it. If you don't know that man by name, you may know him because he was in Sherlock, and I'll be honest, that's the only thing I can think of that he was in off the top of my head, but he's been in many things and he is very good. So yeah, it was him and I was going to say Richard Burton. Richard Burton is the character. It's Johnny Flynn, who was actually one of my top performances of the year. Like, he was immense. Both him and Mark Gatiss were amazing, but like I've never seen anything like it from Johnny Flynn. Like, out of this world performance. It was so good. Now, I'm a big plays fan. I can always usually get behind a play, which I know is not for everyone, but The Motive in the Queue is so spectacularly written. It's one of those shows where it takes you a while to ease into it because it's just a lot of information, and that was especially the case for me because I went to go and see this on a weekday and I'd been at Erdang all day, and so I was very tired, and so I had to really concentrate to get myself through it. But the last like 15 minutes of the show, perfection. It was so good, and like the theatre was so special because the show itself is about John Gielgud, who is a famous theatre director and actor, and I was sat there the whole time thinking like, why is this not in the Gielgud Theatre that's in the Noel Coward Theatre? Like, that just struck me as really bizarre. But then in the last 15 minutes they explain why, and you're like, oh, this is so special, it's so cool. Like, it's a really, really well done show. I think I'm going to put it in S tier. It's very much like on that line because it was amazing, but you do have to concentrate to understand what's going on. But the performances were just amazing. I'm so sad Johnny Flynn didn't win. Obviously Mark Gatiss won and that was great, but Johnny Flynn's performance in that was truly, truly amazing. But yeah, I think I'm going to put it in S tier because it was pretty damn good. It was pretty damn good. Show number 3 I saw was Back to the Future, the musical. Now, I didn't really know much about Back to the Future, the musical, going into it. I have seen the film once, and that was a very long time ago. So going into it, I could hardly even remember the story. I just knew the very bare bones of what it was about. I think the show itself is a really fun show. I remember when we watched it in Act 1, I wasn't really convinced. I was like, it's fine, but I'm not super there with it. But by the time the show had ended, after the second act, I was like, oh no, I actually really like that. I think it just took me a while to warm into it. And when I'd seen the whole show and saw how it was like done as a whole, I thought it was good. I like the music. It's not a show I particularly listen to in my spare time, but I did like it. I thought the performances were good. I thought the choreo was really fun. But there are some tracks in that show that just seem a bit random to me. For example, Marty's girlfriend. She comes in, she's in one scene, gets a whole song, and then you don't see that character again until the last 5 minutes of the show, which to me seems a bit random. But anyway, the Marty McFly was really great. Like I said, lots of great performances I saw this year, just kind of across the board, and I did enjoy it. Would I see it again? Yes, I would see it again. But was it a show I'm like glowing about? No. It's so difficult when you're ranking shows against each other, because like, in what way can I compare Back to the Future to The Motive and the Q? Like, they are so different and you enjoy them for such different reasons. But I think I'm going to put in A tier. I think it was an A tier show. If I'm going to put Hamilton there, I'm going to put Back to the Future there as well, because it was fun. The next show I saw in 2024, forgot the year then for a second, brain zoned out, was Tina, the musical. Now, Tina really surprised me, because going into it, I thought I wasn't going to like it. I was really unsure. I think because jukeboxes as a whole don't overly attract me, because I know very little pop music. So going into shows where everyone else knows the music and I don't, I feel kind of weird about. And I just think jukeboxes as a whole, the story element is never really as good, because they're trying to fit the story around the songs instead of the songs around the story, if that makes sense. But Tina does it really well. Tina is not what I thought it was going to be, but it's literally just her story as a musical. It goes from her being a child to her going through her life when she was married to Ike, and all her new singles and trying to break into new music and all of this stuff. And it's a really insightful look into Tina Turner's life, because there was a film made about it, but I had only seen like 10-15 minutes of it, so I really knew nothing about her life other than kind of what happened with Ike. But that was literally it. I knew nothing. And I also had an understudy on for this show. I had Zara McIntosh as Tina, and let me tell you, insane. Like, Tina, I would argue, is probably the hardest track on the West End at the moment. I think it's hardcore. You're always on stage, you never stop, vocally so hard and so high energy all of the time, and she was just amazing. Probably one of my favourite performances of the entire year, not just of the show. Didn't know a lot of Tina Turner music. I think I could probably knew about 3 or 4 of the whole thing, but the show itself was really, really great. Would I see it again? Yes, but my one thing is it's so loud. I think I was sat on the second row or the front row. It was one of the first like rows, and it was so loud all of the time, and I'm not very good with super loud stuff, so in that regard it's kind of like ooh. But I think for what the show is, it's really great, and I think the way it's done is really great. But I think I would put it in B tier. There's no particular reason why I wouldn't put it in A or S tier. I just feel like B tier sits right for what it is. But like, I really thought I was not gonna like this show. I didn't really have any expectations going into it, but I was so happy that I saw it, and I think it's definitely not talked about enough as a show on the West End. I think it's very much forgotten, and it shouldn't be, because those people playing Tina Turner, man, you need a lot of talent, and let me tell you, they do have a lot of talent there. The next show I saw was Aladdin. I saw the UK tour of Aladdin here in Manchester. I think I filmed that actually, because it was when I saw a lot of shows in a very short space of time. Aladdin is not one of my favourite musicals, but like, it's also not one of my favourite Disney films. My favourite Disney films are kind of unpopular. Like, my favourite Disney film ever is Mulan, but I would never really have any desire to see Mulan as a stage show, because I think that the film is so perfect. But yeah, I think Aladdin, much like Lion King, they're just not my aesthetic of a Disney film, but I can definitely appreciate what they do for people and why people like them so much. I think Aladdin is a very fun musical. Do I see myself in it? Definitely not, and I think you can probably guess why. And I also think that contributes to why I like a show, because if I can see myself in a show, I have more of an incentive to like it than if I don't. The costumes, oh my god, the costumes, gorgeous. Some of my favourite costumes of the year, like truly beautiful. I did think the set was a bit low, but I don't know if it's because it's obviously a touring production. But then I saw Beauty and the Beast, which was another Disney production touring, and the set on that was immense. So I don't know if it's just the way that Aladdin's done. I honestly don't know. The genie, real standout performance, was amazing. Also Aladdin's 3 friends. I know one of them has a TikTok, and I like watching his TikToks, but the 3 of them had like a lovely rapport, and there was like a really nice, they were all great, but they had a really nice chemistry, and they have a whole song together, so it's really nice in that regard. But like I said, the show, like nothing to do with the performers or whatever, but the show itself is just not one that really attracts me, and I feel like really bad for saying that, but you know, you're not gonna like every show. Like my mother does not like falsettos, and it hurts my heart every time she tells me, because it's one of my favorite shows ever. A lot of people don't like Company, and it hurts my soul every minute of every day, because that is my favorite show of all time, and in 10 years please be casting me as Bobby in Company. It's my only life goal. That's not true, but it's my biggest life goal, I fear. But for this reason, I'm going to put it in C tier. It was not a bad show, and I want to make it very clear. It's just comparatively, compared to the other shows that I saw, I didn't like it as much. But I do just want to say that like all the shows I saw in 2024, aside from one, and we'll get there when we get there, I would rate over 3 stars. So they're not bad. Like, it's just if I'm comparing them to the other shows that I saw that I liked a lot, like they're not going to rank as high, and hopefully that makes sense. And this is also no hate to anyone on the production team or the performers of the show, because they're all very talented and they put a lot of work into making this show, so you know, be aware. Next, I saw 2 strangers carry cake across New York. I saw the understudy for, I can't remember what the male character is called. I think I wrote it down. Dougal. I saw the understudy for Dougal. I saw Ellis Kurt. What a phenomenal actor that man is. I don't know if he's in Back to the Future now, but he was also understudy for Marty McFly. Like, truly, like, he was so talented, and I loved him. Also has played Dear Evan Hansen on the West End when that was here as well. Really talented. And John Gift, also, their chemistry, really, really lovely. This show, not my favourite. I am always for supporting new shows, and I think it's really important that we do, because at the moment we are getting a lot of adaptations, and I'm not saying adaptations are bad, but we really need to be promoting original theatre, and this is that. But I think it's a writing thing. It feels too long. The show itself is not that long. I think it's just under 2 hours, so it's perfectly respectable timing. But I genuinely watched the first act and thought it was going to be over, because it was an hour, but it felt about an hour 40, which a show shouldn't do. It's not a show I go back to, which I'm using kind of as a frame of reference for how much I like it. I don't listen to the cast recording ever. I also got a bit of hate because I spoiled the ending on my TikTok just before the show was closing, and some people came for me about that. I personally think it was fine, and it's not even like a big spoiler if you actually see the show, but people did, so there's that. But overall, I thought the show was fine. Like, it was fine, and therefore I would put it in C tier. Okay, the next show, where am I from? Don't know what that was. The next show I saw in 2024 was London Tide. Weird one. Didn't know what to expect going into it, but I thought it was good. It was like a play with songs in it, so it was kind of like a musical, but I don't think it could really make its mind up. But I did like it. It was good. I thought the acting performances were really strong. I don't quite know if the vocal performances were as strong, but I kind of let it slide because it's not really what it was about. Like, it wasn't really a musical. It was more a play. And I thought the whole staging of it was super interesting. Like, it's based off some Charles Dickens novels, and like the stage like made waves and stuff because they were like off the river, and the story was like kind of crazy. It was a bit wayward. I don't know how to describe it. It was just like a lot. It was a lot of something, but it was a good show. And by the way, a lot of these shows I actually made vlogs about, so if you want to hear me go into more detail about what I thought about it and stuff, you can go and watch those. But yeah, like strange show, and I don't think it would be for everyone, but I liked it because I'm kind of into that kind of weird stuff. So I think I would put this in B tier. Lots of interesting set, like the whole design stuff of this, amazing. It was at the National Theatre, so we're not surprised on that front, but so strange. Like, it was a murder mystery, and then it was a romance, and then it was like backstory central. It was really strange, but in a good way. So I think, yeah, B tier. Okay, next I saw Kiss Me Kate. Now, I actually saw Kiss Me Kate twice. I returned because I liked it so much. But the first time I saw it, it had Stephanie J. Block in it. And the second time I saw it, I saw the understudy for Stephanie J. Block. But I'm going to rank them as one because, you know, I may as well. So, Kiss Me Kate at the Barbican. I love this show. Other people weren't as convinced. I loved it. I had such a good time. Kiss Me Kate is like my dream legit show to be in. I would love to be in Kiss Me Kate. I just think it's really fun and it's upbeat and it's just you're just having a good time. Like, a lot of legit shows are quite sad and depressing, but not Kiss Me Kate. Kiss Me Kate's a lot of fun. I thought all the performances were great. Stephanie J. Block is just truly something else. Like, she was just so amazing. And I was on the second row, so I was like 10 meters away from freaking Stephanie J. Block, and I was having a fangirl moment. I was so excited. I think I would put this in S tier. Obviously, this is a biased review. Like, of course it is. It's what I like. But I loved Kiss Me Kate. I would watch it a million times. It's the only production I've ever watched twice. I've seen certain shows twice. Like, I've seen Wicked twice, once on tour, once in the West End. And I actually think that's the only show I've seen more than once. But Kiss Me Kate is the only time I've seen the same production, twice. And it was just so much fun. And I liked it so much. You just couldn't keep me away. Like, when it comes to like substance, like, it's not the same as The Motive and the Cue. Like, they are so different. But for what Kiss Me Kate is and what it brings to the table, it was exactly what you wanted. It's just so great. And it's one of the only shows, I think, where the book is really important. Like, the book is just as important as the songs, if not more important, which is a very important thing for me. I've said important a lot, but yeah. I think I would put it in S tier. I really like that show. Okay, the next thing I saw was Hello Dolly with Imelda Staunton in it. And I mean, I don't really think there's much I need to say on this. Like, Imelda Staunton, amazing. Who's surprised? Not me. She was great. Whole production value of the show is just so high and all the performances are so strong. I'm not the biggest Hello Dolly fan, just like full stop, but it was really, really enjoyable and just a nice time. Like, legit shows that are a nice time, I think are so fun because you can enjoy it because they're enjoying it. And there are sad moments, but overall, everyone's having a good time. So we have to appreciate that. So I think I would put this in A tier. I know my mother, and I know she'll be watching this, so hi. She would definitely put this in S tier because she loved it. And I'm not saying I didn't. I really, really liked it. But I would put it in A tier because it was great. It was really, really great. But didn't quite sail into S tier. Like, if you're talking just on the, like, objective, if I was talking objectively, it would go in S tier. But because this is my review and my bias, I'm going to put it in A. Hopefully that makes sense. The next thing I saw was Guys and Dolls at the Bridge Theatre. Again, wasn't really sure what to expect. I've seen productions of Guys and Dolls before, but not in any professional capacity. So seeing it in the round with all the staging stuff that they do was really fun. I did not stand. My ticket was only £19.50, so can't really be complaining on that front. I think they definitely played more to one side than another, which obviously in the round can really change your experience. But overall, it didn't bother me too much. I had the understudy on for Sky, which is the thing I remember. But this show was good. Like, I think I'm going to put it in B tier. It was a nice time. It was a fun time. It was a good time. But nothing about it really blew me away. There were some great performances. Don't get me wrong. The show itself is strong. But yeah, I would put it in B tier. Okay, the last show I saw in 2024 was Julius Caesar at the Southwark Playhouse. Now, I have to say, I saw this show for free. I did not pay for my ticket. The Southwark Playhouse gave me a ticket, and for that I am very grateful. However, this production was not my favourite. It wasn't the actors' fault. I'm not blaming the actors. I'm blaming the universe. Okay, so this was Julius Caesar set in dystopian Shakespeare times. Everybody was dressed like the Grounders from the 100. And if you don't know what they look like, this is a reference image. Julius Caesar wore a floor-length orange fur coat and a bright red mohawk wig. And he was also a hologram for the whole show. People were sending will and testaments by holographic mail. I had very little idea what was going on all of the time. The big battle scene at the end, they were playing Laser Quest, and I was trying not to burst out laughing. I have no words for this production, other than I'm pretty sure I hated it and would not recommend it to a friend. I hate talking badly about productions because people work very hard to put them on. I can appreciate the performer lifestyle, and I'm not here to hate on things. Like, when you know people work very hard at a production, you want to like it. Like, I think that is the thing at the end of the day. I don't want to sit here and hate on the show because I know people worked hard to put it on. But I really didn't like it. Because I'm also honest here. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, it was great, when I just really disliked it. My friend Abby actually also went to go and see it, and she really liked it. So it could just be a me thing, but people who got free tickets did leave at the interval, and I was very tempted to. But because I got invited, I was like, I can at least see out the show to the end. But yeah, I would not go and see it again. I don't think I would see it again if somebody paid me money, because I think that would be unfair to everyone in that room, including myself. But it was truly something, and not quite the way I wanted to end off my 2024 show viewing experience, but nonetheless, it was. I would put this in F tier. I can't say we're all overly surprised about that, because I just thought it was terrible. I'm just gonna say it. I thought it was bad, and I really didn't want to. I was really hoping I was gonna like it because I like Shakespeare, but that production was just not it. So this is my list. These are my rankings for the year. I think overall, pretty solid year. Like, only one show below a C tier. I think that's pretty good. I don't know how many shows I'm going to see next year. I have nothing lined up, and there are a few shows I am planning on seeing or wanting to see. When Hercules comes, we'll be trying to get tickets to that. Obviously, things like Hadestown and Mean Girls, I'm still yet to see. So that's coming in on the list. Gatsby, obviously, also coming this coming year. There's lots of things that I can be seeing when the new year comes around. So I'm excited, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good year. And what is scary is 2025 is the last year I'll be watching musicals before auditioning for said musicals. That's scary. That is so scary. In 2026, I'll be auditioning for shows. And that is kind of spooky, and I don't want to think about it. But yeah, that is my 2024 musicals, plays, any shows I saw ranked. What did you see in 2024? Did you see more shows than me? Did you see less? What were your opinions? Was there any shows you hated, like I did? Or was there any shows you really, really loved? Either way, leave those down in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you feel like it. You enjoy musicals as much as me, and I will see you in the next one.